Good evening, everyone. This is Pradeep, Ambassador of Change from GETI, the Global Education and Training Institute of Lucknow. We are the premier institute for teacher training and principal training in all of India, and we are mentored by Dr. Sunita Gandhi. We have many in-service and pre-service programs, and for more information on this, you can go to 740-840-1000. You are on our disruptive education platform. On this platform, we have met and interacted with more than 1,000 educationists from India and abroad. And today we have for you Mr. Farruq Ameen. He's the ex-DDG, Department of Telecommunications, Government of India, Bangalore, Karnataka. He belongs to the 1978 batch of engineering in electronics and telecommunications from the National Institute of Engineering, Mysore, and he's an MBA in Finance Management. He's a fellow of the Institution of Engineers, India, and fellow of the Institution of Electronics and Telecommunications Engineering, India, Engineers. He also has an advanced training in electronics, switch systems, mobile communications, internet, and broadband networking systems. He has a wide range of experiences in planning, development, operations, quality assurance of telecommunication services, as well as human resource development. He has also contributed towards publications in a number of articles, newsletters, and engineering instructions in telecommunications and journals and publications. He has guided a number of students in Indian universities for their technical and management studies. He is passionate about innovative and disruptive education, so he is absolutely on the correct platform. Currently, he is working on development of blended learning systems for mitigating the loss of schooling during the pandemic. He is fond of music, movies, and cricket. He will be speaking to us today on ICT infrastructure for education in rural areas. So thank you and good evening, sir. Welcome to Disruptive Education, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pradeep Malji. At the outset, I am thankful to GETI and its mentor, Dr. Sunita Gandhi, for giving me an opportunity to talk about information and communication technology infrastructure for education in rural areas. To start it, before I go to the actual topic of ICT, I would like to show you some 2 slides regarding the recent news about the signal availability. The first report was published in the first week of July this year about a teacher who built treehouse class to access internet in Mullur village of Somarpete of Kurg district in Karnataka. You can see the news report on the left side, wherein a teacher by name C.S. Satisha, a 37-year-old government school teacher, decided to build a bamboo platform atop a tree so that he could continue to teach kids from this high part. On the right hand side, you will see another screenshot showing the students who trek daily 4 kilometers to reach hilltop to attend online classes. This report was published in one of the social media reports from the Limber Valley in Kashmir. So both the teachers and students have not given up studies during pandemic. The biggest question is, whether a teacher from Kodagu can teach to the students in Kashmir, and whether the students from Kashmir can ask questions to a teacher in Kodagu. The answer is very simple. Yes, it is possible. It is possible due to technology. And this technology is called information and communication technology. Let us see what is ICT. Information and communication technology consists of hardware, software, networks, and media for collection, storage, processing, transmission, and presentation of information, voice, data, text, and images. This is about the contents. Then, if you want to know the definition of ICT, the London Business School in the year 2005 defined ICT as an acronym to denote a new concept, which is a combination of two previously unrelated concepts. First concept is information technology, known as IT, and the second technology is communication technology, CT. Now, today's topic is about education in rural area. ICT in education is nothing but the mode of education that uses information and communications technology to support, enhance, and optimize the delivery of information. In ICT concepts, there are three main items. One is connectivity, second is customer premises equipment, and the third one is content management. Connectivity is of two forms, as many of us are using. One is wireless, that is, wireless communication is nothing but mobile communications. In that, we have different forms: Wi Fi, 2G, 3G, and the latest ones are 4G and 5G. The second technology is wired technology. It is called fiber to the home, wherein the fibers are taken to the households and a broadband services are given either through FTTH or on the normal twisted pair or cable pairs. That is a broadband on landline. It is connectivity is also possible through satellite TV. Most of us use dish TV for listening to the lectures. After connectivity, the next is content. Content is nothing but textbooks, printed format, that is PDF, Kindle format, and videos. Online or pre-recorded videos, virtual classes, remote learning, management system, content management systems are the software tools and techniques of ICT. Customer premises equipment are nothing but devices, a cell phone, mobile phone, laptops, tablets, television with set-top box, smart TVs, projectors, PCs, others, and low-cost notebooks. All these three parts combine to form the ICT services. Each one of them is as important as the other. Previously, the content management was the concern of academicians. Connectivity was given by the technical people, telecom engineers, and customer premises equipment was given by the electronics and telecommunication manufacturers. Now, coming back to connectivity, there are the broadbands. Broadband also has got two different types. One is fixed broadband, which is given through a digital subscriber line or fiber to the home. Fixed broadband is popular in stationary locations like houses, schools, offices, banks, and hospitals. Whereas mobile broadband is a wireless connectivity and has an advantage of mobility. With the introduction of high speed wireless, broadband and mobile applications are gaining popularity, including entertainment. Generally, it is perceived that mobile broadband is the best services and mobile broadband is most popular. But if you compare the parameters, you will find that fixed broadband is a better service because of the latency. Latency is defined as the time delay in retrieving the information from a centralized location. Fixed broadband has a delay of about 23 milliseconds, whereas mobile broadband has a delay of 40 milliseconds. Reliability: fixed broadband is highly reliable because its signal strength is strong and continuous, except in the case of interruptions, whereas the mobile broadband is less reliable. Similarly, the maximum, which is maximum speed download, if you see fixed broadband, the global average is 78.26 megabits per second, whereas the mobile communication offers only 34.6 megabits per second. This is the global average. And also the speed of download or upload, wherein the information is uploaded or downloaded. In case of upload, the maximum speed of fixed broadband is 42.06 mbps, and in case of telephony, mobile broadband, it is 11.101 megabits per second. So the broadband has got a lot of drivers and advantages. There are so many socio-economic drivers, technological drivers, commercial and governmental drivers. Advantages are online banking, online e-ticketing, socio-economics, e-commerce, e-education, e-government and e-health services are all very important, and it is these things are happening only due to broadband, which can be either fixed broadband or mobile broadband. Further to the, the content part, virtual classrooms can also be happen while providing the content management. A virtual classroom is an online teaching and learning environment where teachers and students can present course material, engage and interact with one another, and they work in groups together. The key distinction of a virtual classroom is that it takes place in a live and synchronous, that is, synchronous means as it happens setting. Nowadays, a lot of open source softwares are available where the educationists or the users can use these softwares free of cost. And the content managers or the technological IT engineers and companies have developed a number of enterprise resource planning services where they give the facility of ease of management and teachers portal, students portal and students app. The school portal has got the facility of managing and observing, monitoring and feedback services for the education. Teachers prepare online classes, plans and update, give assignments. Students interaction with the students at remote locations is also possible. In the students portal, students anywhere in the globe can receive lectures from teachers given from a centralized location. And students' apps are used in mobile telephone use while using mobile telephones, laptops, and other notebook, etc. So, thus, the software applications develop support learning management systems, content management system through cloud computing. Cloud computing is a resource location where all the data, lessons, and all the contents are stored. Different types of LMS tools are available. The users have got wide range of choices and facilities for specific applications like academic applications, blended learning, SCOM, video conferencing, e-commerce, etc. We all know last year, a year ago, NEP 2020 was adopted by the government. And in this NEP, technology and education has been included as an appropriate integration of technology into all levels of education to support teacher preparation and development and improve teaching, learning, and evaluation processes. And just to enhance the educational access to disadvantaged groups and streamline the educational planning, administration, and management. This policy aims at appropriately integrating technology to all levels of education to improve classroom processes, support teacher professional development. Government also in this plan NEP 2020 proposes to form a national educational technology firm as an autonomous body to set up facilitate decision making on induction, deployment and use of technology by providing to the leadership of educational institutions, state, central governments and other stakeholders and latest knowledge and research as well as the opportunity to consult, share the best practices in education. Hence, the NEP 2020 is focused and is determined to give technology integration for our education system, both at urban and rural areas. So, whatever presentation I am giving, it is in sync with national education policy and the present and future technologies to be deployed in education. Coming back to main topic, that is ICT in rural area, information and communication technology in rural area. As we know, the barriers to ICT in rural area is the delay or the isolation due to non-availability of ICT infrastructure in rural area. The barriers and disadvantages of rural and semi-urban areas are mainly due to their remoteness. The picture here in the center shows a village called Martalli in Chamaraj district of Karnataka, which is located 145 kilometers from Mysore at the foothill of, you can see the hill in the background, foothill of Mahadeshwara Hills, bordering Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And this is school. This school was not having internet connectivity. However, I, as a employee of DOT, we took initiative and installed extended optical fiber to the rural area and extended the services. This is a very backward area where the all households are belonging to the labor classes who are stone quarrying workers. So access to ICT offers possibility of bringing in new activities, services and applications. Now, one serious concern, the graph below shows the rural direct exchange DELs, that is direct exchange lines. Here, if you see, the three graph shows the brown color is an urban, where it was about 30 million lines and in the year 2004 or 5, and similarly the rural DELs were about 20 million. But over the period of 16 years, the rural DELs have come down to 2020, mainly because they have been using mobile facility and internet access and landlines are waning out. Though these services are very much needed now during pandemic, and these can be given internet facility in rural areas can be extended through direct exchange lines. If you see the overall percentage, the scenario of education in rural area, there are about 15 lakh schools. As per the 8 All India Educational Survey, there were 13 lakh schools, and now 15 lakh schools are there. So upper primary and secondary schools. So out of these 15 lakh schools, 83% schools are in rural area, and 84% and 16% are in urban areas. So similarly, the internet penetration in rural area is about 32% as on date. Thus, and further studies and analysis shows a very gloomy picture that only 38.54% of schools in India have computer facility, and 30.3% have government schools have computers, and 62.97 government aided schools have computers. This is the availability of computers. If you want to look into the internet services, it is very sad that only 22% of schools in India have internet facility. This is the data released by Education Ministry. Among the government schools, please see here, less than 12% had internet in the year 2019-20, and government aided schools had 42.18% internet availability, and whereas the private schools had 58%. So further analysis has got there is a lot of variation all over India in availability of internet services as well as computers. Some of the states like Kerala have 90% of schools, both government and private, had access to working computers and internet facility also accordingly. Whereas some other states, I would not like to name them, had as low as only 5% of penetration. These figures were published, this data was published in the newspaper, The Hindu. And it is a very large variation between 5% to 90% is definitely a thing of serious concern. And we have to ensure the availability of internet as well as computers in the school. As a NEP also, National Education also says the policy of providing the infrastructure, educational infrastructure as its main agenda, and it has proposed that corporate social responsibility will be responsible for providing internet and computers to the school. Way back in 2009 and 8 and 9, BSNL had implemented some CSR initiatives. First one was free computers and broadband to services in 26 girls' schools in Assam. These were provided in backward districts of Assam. Similarly, free broadband services were provided in 429 schools of Assam, all over Assam, in rural areas, and these 429 were provided with due approval from the BSNL board, and this was very popular at that time. Subsequently, what happened? We are required to propagate and ensure, develop this type of uh, corporate social responsibility services. Furthermore, if you see, there were telemedicine and health services were also initiated in Kamrup district and Nalbari district of Assam. This was during 2008 and 9, and self-employment to physically challenged was also given. So these facilities were given way back, almost 10 or 11 years, but its necessity was felt during pandemic, and even now it is very important. What I suggest is the idling capacity of direct exchange lines should be extensively used, and fiber should be used to provide these services. Now, with this, to conclude my presentation, I have drawn some points uh, from the my present presentation. First is the technology in education is a key focused area of NEP 2020, which aims at appropriately integrating technology into all levels of education to improve classroom processes, support teachers, professional development, enhance educational access for disadvantaged groups, and streamline educational planning, administration, and management. This initiative and this proposal is disruptive and innovative. More than that, it is a collaborative. Collaborative because Department of Telecom, Department of Education, and Department of Electronics and IT should collaborate to give the best services to our disadvantaged groups. The first three lines are directly copied from the recommendations of NEP 2020. From the Act, now it is Act, from the Act of NEP 2020. Enabling ICT in education and making use of technology in education creates an easy to manage learning environment where delivery of information is so much smooth and learning easier. ICT is definitely the path to take for institutions, and our growth is directly aligned with the technology. Now, so to summarize my presentation, the following recommendations are to be considered by the educationist and all concerned. Develop effective and inclusive learning solutions and to encourage use of multiple delivery channels to mitigate the digital divide. Mitigate, already there is a loss of schooling days and other thing during last 2 years during pandemic, and we have to take initiative, see that we make up for the loss of school education, integrating classroom learning with e-learning modes to build a unified learning system. Point number three is to establish quality assurance while implementing remote learning system or distant education system or blended learning system. We should not compromise on the quality of education. So, therefore, it is necessary that we have to establish quality assurance mechanism and quality benchmarks for online learning platforms. Increase the government support to household. This is also very important. As you have seen in distance learning, the a digital divide was created. Many rich people got best of education due to the presence of the connectivity, good connectivity, and good content management, and the customer premises equipment, whereas the poor people suffered. This increased government support to household will ensure that even poor people will get. Here, it may be noted that we are not required to invest more money to provide internet services to households. The available resources should be used optimally. So, therefore, we also should have policies to boost on access to online learning systems. So, connectivity should also be improved. Broadband on landline also should be provided, and devices at low cost also to be considered by Department of Electronics and IT, supporting teachers in transition to remote learning. Many of our teachers are not well versed with online teaching. They are also to be given appropriate training. Skill developments support to teachers is also one of the necessity. So this facility, online facility, learning facility, facilitates interaction between teachers, students, as well as parents. Parents is also important here. Parents can monitor the performance of their children. Monitoring student dropout. Student dropout is one of the main concerns of education is all over the globe. Then monitor the effectiveness of health and safety measures and psychological support. With this, I conclude and greet all the teachers on the eve of Teachers' Day celebration that will be done tomorrow. Teachers' Day celebrations greeting to all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. There was a question by Mr. K. Banerjee on how can the school or teachers reduce the digital divide in the process of teaching learning method, which I think you did answer in your conclusion. But could you please tell us a little bit more about this?
See, the bridging the gap between teachers and students. This is, we have a plenty of idling assets. If you see, in the year 2004, there were about rural direct exchange lines. Direct exchange lines can be converted as broadband services on landlines. So, if we provide and use optimally these internet services and extend to schools as well as households. Important thing is, please note, households. If we extend household connections through landlines, if it is given and if the distance between telephone exchange and the household is less than 1 kilometer, then the broadband on landline works very fast, and it can even give speed up to 8 megahertz, 8 MB, 8 MB, and give the good services to our rural folks. I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that talk on ICT infrastructure for education in rural areas. I guess you also have covered the urban areas in this. And
Yes,
yes, sir. So, good evening, everybody, for being with us today. And I request you to watch our detox on disruptive literacy movement by Global Dream, which is an initiative of Dr. Sunita Gandhi since 2014. And in this, we have several talks also every day. The whole idea is to help everyone become literate in India. So it's like each one teach one, or each one teach more than one, and to ensure literacy and numeracy for everybody in India. For more information on this and to attend our talks on this, you can go to the same number as I had said earlier, 740-840-1000. So good evening, everybody, and a very happy Teachers' Day from me also, and to you also, sir. Today you are a teacher, and I guess we are all teachers in our own way. So a very happy Teachers' Day to everybody. Good evening and goodbye. See you soon in the future.
thank you, sir. Thank you, Pradeep Maljeev, and thank you, Sunita Gandhi ji.